So this is for the next 3 weeks, starting from Monday. We are going to have this boot camp. We announced another project. Okay, this particular project we are going to take it as a preparatory for that particular project, wherein more enhanced list of topics will be covered. And the intention by us is that, okay, once we start working on that, you will be getting more of the detail into the topic, and then you can learn more. And instead of just only learning and practicing, we want you to put directly to the practice. So that is why, and also to the real-time environment, which we're just trying to suggest here. So that is the whole reason for this particular project, which we are trying to get you onto that one. So this particular project we are trying to divide. We divided into 3 weeks. That is the whole end product which we are trying to expect that. So this first week, what are that we are going to cover part of this. Okay, it is not just that. Okay, we will be asking you to directly develop, but as we are trying to develop that, okay, how we are going to do that. It is more going to be an interactive session with this, like as I mentioned here, it is the DB design example. So when you say DB design, it is a database. So what are the contents we are going to have? Okay, how we are going to go through these database related activities and all. Similarly, the UI design. Okay, UI means is the user interface design. How we are going to build that. Okay, those related details will be there in case of this particular topics. That's the whole point. We are just trying to do that. It's okay. Okay, this is not going to be a public unless until we all are on the same page. Okay, so this, even though we just listed a couple of things here, so many things are going to be covered in the sense like what is the version control, how we are going to perform this. So we will just try to make sure you get some of the tasks assigned so that you get maximum out of it. And then when it goes to the real time, or when it goes to working in the real-time environment or in the client space, okay, client place, or even if you are working for big organizations or big companies like I just took take a couple of Indian companies here, okay, HCL or TCS or CTS, okay, so Infosys, these things. At times you will be placed on internal projects, okay, like timesheets, approvals, okay, something like that, okay, or HR related activity or something else. They just come up with something so that you are engaged, okay. So those activities which you can use this particular knowledge, okay, to kickstart, okay, or it serves as a foundation for you where we can work on those projects. So for that particular purpose, we will be covering these things here. The DB design we're talking about. Similarly, the UI design, how it looks, how we have that particular product to be. Okay. So those things, it's all going to be more interactive session where we all will be talking about. We will come up with an initial design. If you're not okay, still okay. We can just try to discuss that and we can design, okay? And then we start that to practice. What are the topics, what are the tools that are required to host this particular application? As I mentioned, okay, like version control, GitHub is there, okay? Something like in the big corporate world, so you use CVS, okay, PTC, okay, MKS, those related activities. But either way, it is a little bit of practice you need to have with the tools. But once you know one tool about these activities, right? So version control, pretty much you can handle with most of the tools. Okay, it should not be a major deal with that. Okay. Similarly, how to host it, and also like how to look at the servers, or how to what are the different tools which you can use just to put that, okay, and also in the local host, okay, like ISS, which you used to have, okay, so WebLogic is there, so those related activities, okay. Just we'll start with that, okay. So a trainer will give more details about what are the different tools and all those things which you can have, that we will be covering in the first week. Now, when it comes to the second week, okay, so, and also like week two, okay, so it is more like the profile updates, like whatever the profile register means, it is nothing but a profile you're going to have, okay. How to retrieve that with just registering is enough, not enough. So we need to try to update that also, right? It sometimes you just had a last name, different name which you had it, okay, something like you want to update your email or something like that. Okay, so those details which we need to update it here, and also we just try to do some file upload, okay, into the system. Like when you just have a file on your laptop, on your desktop, and that particular file which you need to upload it into the system. Nowadays you have we are getting with various tools here. Okay, for those things also we just try to cover in this particular application. Okay, so if you use big corporate applications or big ERP applications like SAP, okay, Oracle Cloud or Oracle ERP R2L, so those applications, they have some inbuilt processes. But when it comes to other clients, so you may have to uh, uh, write your own code kind of stuff. Okay, so this will be the profile updates, like not technically profile update, but it is file upload mechanisms. Okay, so those things we will be covering, okay, in the second week. Okay, and coming to the third week, it is which we call it as a skill assessment. It is not your skill assessment, but it is application which we want to have it as a feature within the application where you can just assess the skills. In the sense, like, let us say you have some skills that are registered by you. Okay, example, if you just take it as you write it as I know SQL Server example. Okay, we have some of the code, some of the questions kind of stuff. Okay, so skill assessment related activity, you already have it. Now you are trying to say that, okay, how I am going to access this. Okay, so this particular code and also these particular tools, how we are going to access, how we are going to assess that, and at the same time how you are going to give a scorecard. So those related activities we are going to start with this one in this week 3. So which means by the end of by the end of 3 weeks, you should be in a comfortable position. Okay, which is mutually two things is going to happen here. One is that you will be developing something. At the same time, you are going to have the knowledge also enhanced here. Okay, which will cover all our related activity related topics which we listed. Okay, so this is, even though we just have it something like this, it is going to be more of the topics that will be covered behind the scene here. Okay, which I did not list much elaborate, but we are going to have those topics also covered in this particular scenarios. Okay, so this is all which you are going to have. Okay, hope you like it. And also, again, the satisfaction or the other way, right? So it is worth, okay, of your time, okay, and the effort. And also, I don't know how many of you subscribe to the channel. Okay, so I just open it once, and then before I give it to uh, my trainer, okay, our trainer, so we just give those details to you. And in the meantime, probably sometime in the first week itself, okay, we just try to get some guest details or guest activity, okay, wherein we are going to have some unit testing activity. Okay, whatever you do, okay, in any software development application, right? So if you are developing, you are responsible for the unit testing. If you are using it as part of an end user, still you are responsible for one kind of testing. It is called as UAT, which is user acceptance testing. Okay, if you are a subject matter expert or functional specification where you are a liaison between the users as well as IT team or development team, that case also it is called as a, still you are responsible for some testing as you are the gatekeeper. So in that case, it is a FUT, which we call. Okay, so it is a functional unit testing. Okay, so like development unit testing will be different, functional unit testing will be different. So those are the things which will be having. But our main session is a main content is about the development. So we mostly concentrate onto the unit testing activity. So here, I just open up here one more time. And whatever I listed, whatever we listed here, so those details we just try to show it here in this particular screen. If you look at this channel we have, okay, so in this channel, if you just go to the playlist, okay, and we encourage you, because we have 2, 3, 4 days time, so we just encourage you to go with this, let us say MySQL, okay, and even for the database activity also, pretty much all databases with a little bit of difference. You should have the similar stuff as it is going to be. The SQL is behind the scene. Okay, so these are the tools you're going to have. Small changes, not too much of a changes, but it is like, so these we have, so 2 videos on the MySQL you have. Okay, so something like database training, we have 15 videos. So what are the queries you can write, how you can write, and all this. Okay, we encourage it, even though otherwise also we will be having the content covered as part of the sessions. Similarly, the UI training, so user interface, this, even though you have 14 videos with other activities and all this, it may not be possible to watch all the 14, but we encourage you to start watching it. Okay, so that will be handy when you try to start practicing or developing it. Okay, so we want to see that application up and running. Okay, and if you can always mention, okay, if you're trying to work for a testing activity, if you're trying to look for a tester or QA, whatever you call the name. Okay, so see, so those things we can always, we can have the, you can claim it. Okay, or you can just say that, okay, I worked on this. And when nowadays when it comes to the questions, right, so you should be in a comfortable position to answer those questions. So that is why we are just trying to get that. What we are suggesting is to practice it, so you have much handle on what exactly you wrote. Okay, how we are going to write that. So those contents will be there. If you are in the testing, if it is in the development, they will be asking the questions as what is the, how you are connecting to the database. Okay, so many other related questions, like what is the technology you are using, how you are going to call a database procedure from the code. Okay, within the code. Okay, like did you put any encryption mechanism, how you are going to call it. Okay, master detail pages, so those details, how you made that. Okay, if you want to have master detail and how many like divisions will be there, or how you are going to divide between the divisions. So those, I just cooked up some questions. Okay, so more detail will be coming, but those kind of questions, once you start practicing it, you will be in a very comfortable position to answer those questions on your own. Okay, so that will be interesting one. So we encourage you to go through this, go through this, and also like it is, you can subscribe to the channel, and also you can suggest your friends also to subscribe, and also they can get max out of this particular channel here. Okay, so this is all which I want to say. I wish you all the best. Okay, and also we can start the session for today. Okay, and this we are just trying to get that as a the tone to start with the next level. Okay, which will be proactively working on this on the designs. Okay, so with myself, my name is Sitaram. Okay, and also our trainer. Okay, Sridhar. So both we will be together working on this, and also to conduct the sessions about these activities. Okay, so wish you all the best, and also we'll be, I'm going to stop sharing the screen. What trainer will start, we'll continue from here. Okay, any questions, you can always message me. Okay, which in the admins you have two main numbers. Okay, so India number as well as US number, you can message any of us. Okay.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. So this is GitHub. Vidya, you have idea of GitHub?
Yes, Sridhar.
Okay. Shri, have you worked with GitHub?
Yeah, I have worked.
Okay. I think Vaishnavi is new to that. Vaishnavi, you have any idea of GitHub?
Didn't look.
Okay. So GitHub is actually, it is a repository. I mean, it is nothing but for CI/CD we use for continuous integration, continuous delivery. For that purpose, we use the GitHub. Okay. So, I mean, whatever code you write, you can actually save from time to time into the repository. This is a distributed repository kind of thing. That means in the server you have repository as well as you have in the client. In order to work with that, first of all, we need to install Git, both. Yeah, just notepad I launch. Git, command line application, as well as GUI, graphical user interface based. Both of them are required to get connected to a GitHub server. In fact, for personal use, it is free. Whatever applications you create, you can, I mean, save in the GitHub repository, and you can show to anybody, even you can share that with others if it's a public repository. That's up to you how you create. Okay, but whenever you do project, you need to use the GitHub for, I mean, saving various versions of the files which you are actually working on. Okay, so here I have GUI as well as command line, but I prefer command line to work with that. So now here in this case, I want to create a new repository. So repository name is going to be here TAP. Okay, so this is my username followed by tab. I'm creating here a new repository in this system. Just look at this actually. This is going to be a public repository. Anyone can see this. Or if you want to make it private, you can still make it private. But I want to make actually this one as a public repository. Anyone can see this. Okay, if they cannot contribute to this one, at least they can actually, copy and they can put in their system. Okay, so this is here. The name of the application repository is here TAP. Okay, then here I go with this then create repository. It's going to create a new repository for me. Okay, now this is created for me. I need to clone this now. I must be cloning this particular thing. Okay, so in my system then. Okay, suppose I have created here from command line, you need to init. Then after that, you have to add some file. So if you look in this now, there are no files here. Readme dot file is not available. Empty file is not available. This is basically empty. It is nothing but empty. Let me see again. What are the things available in the tab? Okay. So are there any files? First of all, let me copy this here. I'm copying and putting in the notepad, this particular thing. Okay. Then here, so there are no files associated in this. If you look into this, okay, if you click on the code, okay, do you have any files in this? There are no files, nothing in this. It's in fact empty. Okay, but from my system, now what I want to do, I want to connect to this repository. Then I want to push some files into this repository from my system. First of all, I created here a repository within the GitHub. And from my system, I would like to now save files into this repository. Okay, for that purpose, I go to command prompt. Okay, so this is G here, then MD. I encourage you to use always these commands. Instead of pointing and shooting, like normally you use mouse and with the help of GUI we work normally. Instead of that, you try to learn these commands. They are going to be very useful, particularly when you work with the Linux kind of thing. You have to know commands. So now here, I want to create a new folder called, this is what exactly, TAP. The folder name is here, TAP. Then I change it to TAP here. Then after that, I should now initialize. So if Git is installed in your system, in such cases, you can initialize this as a Git repository. Now here I come to this point, then I can here initialize this. Now this is a GIT repository. Now here in this case, what I want to do, I want to create here some readme.txt file. So for that, I use a command called copy followed by console. Then this is here readme.txt. Okay. So tab version 1.0. I put here front end React.js basic. Then here backend Python followed by it is here. I give a space here. After this, like key value pairs, I'm using Python Flask. Okay. Similarly, database PostgreSQL. Like this, I'm doing. So let me save this file. To save this file, I have to use Control-Z. With the help of that, I can mark end of the file. Then I can press Enter key. The file is created. This command we use with the command line with the Windows operating system. Earlier, we used to have a very old operating system called DOS, disk operating system. Okay, but now no one is using the DOS. But in the Linux, we use this very much, or in the Windows also we use PowerShell. Shell scripting kind of thing we can do with the PowerShell. In the Linux, we use B shell, C shell, corn shell, like that we have Bourne shell, corn shell, C shell. So those shells we use, shell is basically a mechanism to interact with the underlying operating system. Okay, so here all these commands are nothing but operating system commands. Copy from console to the readme.txt. It's basically copy command. But whenever you go with copy command, you require two arguments. First argument is what here? Console. Second argument is here file name. Into the readme.txt, I am saving the data here. Now file has been created for me. File is created here. Then what I should do here? I should go with adding this to the version first of all. Version control. In the local system, first of all, I should be adding. So for that purpose, I go here with the read add followed by -- all I put. Whatever files I have, I'm going to add in this. There is only one file I added just now. That is going to be getting added. Or else you can go with a particular file, git add followed by file name. In either of two ways you can do. When you want to save all the things, you can go with the git add -- all. Similarly, if you want to add a single file, you can go with the git add followed by file name. Now what is happening? You have added this to the version control. Now you can stage this particular thing. So for staging, you have to use a git command. Okay, sorry, git command followed by here commit and followed by here -m. It's nothing but message. Okay, right here created readme.txt. Fine. So these messages are very much required. Okay, whenever you are changing something and adding to repository, so what you added, what you have changed, you need to put like messages. So I'm committing into now staging server. Into the local system, I'm actually saving this. So this concept is called as here staging. I'm staging actually this one. Okay, so I'm pushing it to staging server now here in this case. Then here, press enter key. So this is actually committed in the local system. Now I have to set a branch. You can have multiple branches. So we'll discuss about later on those things much, but you have a main branch. You can go to the main branch in this case. Branch followed by here -m main. So we created here a main branch. Then after this same command I have to use here. So git remote add origin followed by this. I'm going to add this to the here in this. Now next thing what I should do, I should push into the remote server. Now if you look at in this, there are no files associated, but what we do here, git push, then followed by -u, then origin. Here, say this as main. With this, you are going to push into the remote repository. Now, what happened? This has been pushed into that particular file. Now, go to the repository and try to see here. Now, you can see 1 minute ago, a file has been added here. The file name is what? readme.txt. Okay, and in this, what you have? Tab version 1.0, front-end React.js, backend Python Flask, database PostgreSQL, and here you have actually the message created readme.txt. Okay, so like this, we have pushed it into a remote server here. So this is a remote repository. GitHub is actually maintained by Microsoft. Okay, so now here actually this is saved. Version is saved actually. Later on, what I can do, but as soon as I do that, immediately I need to pull. If somebody has modified any code or somebody has added new code, you have to pull that. So just type here git, then followed by here pull command. It is already up to date. Now I'm going to be adding some another file here. I'm going to add here one more file. So like once again, I use here copy call. Okay, followed by this is first.txt. First steps.txt. Like this, I want to make this one here. Then, okay, this file is for, this file contains steps to follow. Okay, in creating a web app, something like this I'm putting here. Then Control-Z, press Enter key. Now a new file we have added. It is not up to the mark now. Here, immediately this is not available. So what I do in such cases, I can here, in this case, what I do, I can be here, first of all, saving this. I need to go here with the git, then add, followed by, I can give the file name this time, first steps, dot followed by txt. Okay, now this is added. Once this is added, you need to put into staging server. So go here, git command, followed by commit, -m, then here, created first steps file. Okay, now press enter key. This is added now. Next step is what here? Ultimately, you need to move into the remote repository. So write this as git push. Okay, it is pushed into a remote repository. Then again, immediately you go with the git pull. Or whenever you start work, first of all, you need to pull from the repository. So this is useful whenever you work in a team, when multiple people involved in that. So in such cases, you can use this kind of thing, because a single person cannot code all the things, cannot develop everything. So in a team, when you are working, you are actually delegating different types of works to different types of people. So all of that work has to be, same with all the people, because suppose Vidya is developing some piece of code. I may use that code in my application. Similarly, Sri is developing some code. I may use that in my code. Okay. So yesterday, for example, I worked for some time at 6 p.m. I have completed my work, and whatever code I modified, I pushed it into repository. But Vidya actually pushed it to repository at 7 p.m. Okay. So as soon as I come into my work area, as soon as I start working, very first thing is what? I need to pull the required things from the remote repository. So it's a good practice. So you can be in sync with the Vidya's code in such cases. Okay, so like this, you have to use the GitHub repository. I have shown few steps, but create your own GitHub account. Okay, install the command line into your system. So to install command line, you can use this mechanism, git command line download. Okay, so you can go here, the git downloads from this, you can download it, command line application, and you can install. So download for Windows, you can download and you can install that. Either you can go with the command line or you can go with the GUI, but I always, suggest learn command line applications. Every time you cannot be using the GUI. Particularly when you are working with the Linux kind of thing, when you work with the server, it is not supposed to launch any like GUI kind of thing, except performance monitoring kind of thing. Otherwise, you cannot use like a client. So whenever you are working on the server, in such case, you have to go with the command line, commands only, normal commands with the command line you need to keep. Okay, something like this in the Linux, it's going to be, I launch here, this Oracle VirtualBox. In my system, this is available. Okay, Oracle Workbox. So I can be launching this particular thing here. Click on this, then I can start it here. Okay, so preview is something available here. Then somewhere, okay, start this one here. I'm starting the virtual machine. Now I would like to show this. So this is Linux commands. All these are nothing but here Linux commands. So it is actually Ubuntu version I am using. One of the Linux flavors is Ubuntu. We use CentOS. Okay, we use Ubuntu. Then we use actually Kali Linux. That's very good for the cyber security kind of thing. Okay, so if possible, if you have resources, even you can install a VirtualBox. Okay, you can install Ubuntu or you can install Mac kind of things into this. So this is called as here virtual box. Here I'm running parallelly Ubuntu operating system. On top of Windows, actually, I've downloaded Oracle VirtualBox. In that, I'm running actually this one. So Linux operating system, I'm running here. Okay, so here you're going to get actually a command prompt. Along with that, there is a possibility of having given the GUI. Since I don't have enough memory in the C drive, it is running a little slow. Otherwise, it comes up immediately. So you have this kind of thing here. You can even search and you can go with the console. So when you click on this, you have in this case, like not console, we don't call this as console here. But let me calm down. All I show here. Okay, second screen I come here, then terminal we call in this case. It's a terminal. So from here, you can be using same thing. When you give ls command, it can show you like this one. Okay, even here also we have Python apps. I have created something even in this also. Okay, I use in this case NGNIX server, web server, NGNIX server we call it. Okay, so this is Linux, and if possible, try to have a Linux virtual system in your computer if your system permits all the things, because all this is going to be huge resource activity. They need more and more resources. Instead of having two computers in the same computer, you can have VirtualBox. In that you can run one operating system. In the main computer, you can run other operating system. Okay, so this is Linux. We have also, you have to use Docker kind of this. Okay, so you might be knowing about Docker. These days, Docker is for containerization we use very much. I'm switching off this one here. So now I can close totally the VirtualBox. Like normal machine only, it is working here. I'm closing this totally. Then I show you here something related to Docker. Okay, so we have a thing called Docker here. I just type Docker desktop. So using Docker also you can do some virtualization. See, sometime back, there was a requirement for me to create a, like, you might be knowing Power BI. Many of you have worked with the Power BI, I think. So using Power BI, you can generate beautiful reports. It's basically a reporting tool or data visualization tool. We call it as a data visualization tool. Okay, but that is actually very costly when you want to go with corporate. So I've gone with the superset. Okay, there is a tool called superset. With the help of that, I can build actually good looking like dashboards I can make actually with the help of the superset. Okay, so for that purpose, I have downloaded this Docker, and in the Docker I configured. Along with this, I have so many other things as well. So if you click on this, it is actually a Docker. In the Docker, I have Apache superset. Okay, now from here, I can start running this particular thing. I can start running this particular thing from here. So when I run it, I can be getting the I can get a dashboard. In the dashboard, I can be seeing various reports. Okay, various reports actually possible now with this. It is already in use actually. So using some port number, I need to access that. Okay, so what is the port number? Size is 1.3 GB. Okay, in use it's saying in this case. So using some port number, like I think 8080, I can access that. Okay, localhost, then followed by here 8080, I can be accessing I'm accessing actually here superset. This is called as here airflow is coming. Okay, admin, then followed by here it is, I can put something in this manner. I can access. So these are possible through something is wrong actually, invalid kind of thing it's saying. Okay, long back I used it because of that. Probably it is, I forgot that. So here again, I go with this, then try to log in with this. Okay, it's invalid password, it's saying, fine. Okay, so, but Docker also you need to know. Docker is basically container kind of thing actually. Whenever you work with the cloud, these days actually they go with the Dockers, they go with the like Kubernetes kind of thing. They use Ansible. Okay, so all these are actually cloud related tools. Okay, to shine in the career, to make actually better career, all these tools you have to know. You must be knowing about all these tools. When you know all these things actually, you can you feel yourself confident and you can contribute to the companies a lot. Okay, companies look for those people who contribute a lot, who work dedicatedly. Okay, who are not afraid, who are actually aggressive, who are loyal. Okay, so who are ready to take responsibility. I have seen most of the people when everything is working, they come forward. Okay, when something is not working, actually they go away from the scenario. Okay, a leader should not have such qualities. A leader, when something is going wrong, should come forward, and when everything is working fine, the person need not be there, because that is his contribution. That can be seen when things are working properly. So everywhere the results you can see, so it is a contribution from that person only. But when something is going wrong, the person should take ownership and should work. So these qualities are very important in today's competitive world. You have to know about all these tools. Then in such cases, actually, we need not see back, but continuous upgradation is required. This is one such tool. You have Apache superset. Today, I find out actually what is the password I have, how to log into that. I'll find out and see. So this is basically what Apache superset I can show from Docker how you can use. Similarly, whatever application we create, okay, in the Linux environment I create and I put it to Windows. Then once I finish here, again I put it to Docker. From Docker I can host it to the Linux, and how things work actually we see even with that. Okay, so all these techniques are required here. As I told earlier, coding is actually some 15 to 20% work. Rest of the things is maintenance, tech support, testing. Okay, so maintaining the reliability of the application, that is important. That's why these days we have great demand for the reliability engineers. Okay, site reliability engineers. If you search in the Google, you find so many opportunities with the site reliability engineers. Okay, so but all of a sudden you cannot become, you need to know about these things first, how front end works, how back end works, actually how servers work, how cloud work, what is security concept in that. Then after that you can become actually site reliable engineer. Because when you know all those things, then only you can be called as a site reliability engineer. So when something is going wrong, quickly you can solve the issue. Okay, so therefore, you have to know all these things. If you have started career just, if you embrace all these things, then definitely you can have better prospects, better career. Okay, so when compared with actually a decade back, it was not this much professional. Software development is not this much professional. These days, whenever you talk to anyone, they ask you whether you go with the async, then await kind of things, or using coroutines or go routines or parallel computing, how you are good with parallel computing. What about unit test cases? Are you writing unit test cases? Okay, what about database, SQL Server database kind of thing? Okay, how do you write the queries which perform better? Okay, what kind of front end use? How do you optimize that? What are the security concerns you take care? They are asking all these questions because today's applications are quite complex when compared with the yesterday's applications. Okay, so definitely you have to be very good with all these things. Then in that case, your future is going to be definitely much better. Okay, you'll enjoy as a professional, you'll be even respected. Without knowing these things, somehow if you get a job, if you keep on those things, I mean, this is my opinion, personal opinion, definitely you are not cared much. So you have to become asset to the company, not a liability to the company. To become asset to the company, definitely you have to know, I mean, all these things. Apart from this, you may have so many things like try to use actually for ticketing system, Jira we use. You can use Jira, even with the help of that, we can do DevOps kind of thing. Probably some of you know about the Jira. You might have worked with Jira. Sri, have you worked with Jira?
Yes, I have worked with Jira.
Yes. So DevOps, anything you implemented with the Jira or only for
Um,
raising tickets?
no, it's only for raising the tickets.
Okay. So for that purpose, use it. Fine.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you know all the things actually, then you can be, I mean, rewarded in your career. Okay. Companies or industry or the enterprise, they are looking for such candidates. Okay. Somebody's talking actually. Fine. Then what we do from, as we discussed actually from Monday onwards, we are going to be involving in the real project. If you know the basics, that is enough. First of all, required thing is basics. When you involve in the project, what happens exactly is you will have interest. Otherwise, if you simply learn, I mean, there is no point in that case. It never ends. The learning curve is going to be never ending curve in such cases. So when you involve in the project, as per the project requirement, if you learn, that will be good. But for that also, you need to have some basics. We have seen how HTML is working, how to create responsive web pages kind of thing. We have seen how we can push into the Python Anywhere is one such cloud. Similarly, you'll be having other clouds like Azure or AWS, or there are so many things actually, so many other servers also we have, but these three are famous. Google Cloud Platform is one. Then similarly, you have Azure. One more thing is here, AWS. Apart from this, there are so many cloud providers. Even we can use their service also. They are somewhat cheaper when compared with this because these are actually very, very big companies. They actually rule the IT industry completely. Microsoft you take, Sun Microsystems you take, then similarly AWS also, Amazon you take, they rule actually the IT industry completely. So because of that, definitely their products are going to be much better. And similarly, they are very costly also. You have even small players, you can use their services. Normally, you have to choose them depending on the requirement. For a simple application, if you go with very big cloud kind of thing, there is no point in that. Okay, there is no point. So appropriate kind of cloud we have to use. So here we have started with Python Anywhere. I think some of you have created sites in the Python Anywhere. Some of you might have pushed actually few files into Python Anywhere. Have you tried with it, Sri?
Yes, Sridhar, I tried it
Okay.
like one or two. I'm able to do
Okay.
that.
Yes. What about Vidya? Vidya, what about you? Have you created with the Python
Python
Anywhere?
Anywhere?
Yes.
Yes, I create.
So keep practicing like that. Okay. And as Sitaram was saying, from Monday onwards, we are going to be involving in the project. We are going to be doing first of all with the layouts. What is basically layout? Layout is nothing but actually how you keep many things in the I show one example with the layout with the some other technology in this. What is the layout? You can see layout is nothing but sidebar you have followed by a header as well as footer. You have content area. In the content area, you have content, and always they are going to be visible like sidebar for navigation purpose we use. Similarly, on the top, you have actually menu bar kind of thing we have. Okay, so they are nothing but actually layouts, and you may go with the 2-column layout or 3-column layout. 2-column layout means what? In the same area, you can be having 2 columns, side by side divs you have. So even yesterday we were saying that, if you recall, we created actually div, we are using some width percentage. When you go with the width percentage, what is happening? We could accommodate 2 divs parallelly. Side by side, we could accommodate. Can you recall yesterday's thing? We created one web page. So in that we were having like that. We created actually 2 divs side by side. They're actually getting displayed. Okay, so like that you can be going with the 2-column websites or 3-column websites or nested kind of thing, all the things. But we are going to be using Bootstrap for styling elements. It's a ready-made library available for us. With the help of that, we can do it. Okay, today what I do actually, I'll try to give you some idea about the JavaScript. And there are many videos, you can go through videos and you can understand those things. Okay, you can understand those things. And whenever you have any doubt, as I told you, you can email me. In the email also, I can respond to you. Okay, I can respond through even the email. Never hesitate actually. When we don't know something, we don't know. Okay, when we don't know something, we don't know. We should not be having any inhibitions regarding that. When we don't know something, we don't know. This is the beauty with Americans you find. When they don't know something, they say they don't know. But in Indians, particularly Indians, we feel that others think bad about us or others make us inferior. So with that kind of thing, actually, we lose so much. So definitely don't, when we don't know something, we don't know, we have to say. But never guess when you don't have really capability to guess properly, never guess it and never say which is inappropriate. Okay, you can guess sometimes. If it's appropriate, that's fine. But if it is not appropriate, then they think that you search in the Google, you are answering like that. That gives a false impression. Okay, so these are the tips actually, as per my experience, I'm saying all these things. With few of the things, even I might have resorted. Okay, so for that actually I paid a dividend for them actually. So definitely don't follow those things. And when you don't know something, you can ask. I don't know that. Then in that case, you can be educated on that particular thing. Okay, whenever you have any doubts, any questions, you can email me. I can be responding to that particular thing. So today we discuss about actually JavaScript, what exactly JavaScript is. The very basics I teach actually. I actually thought of going with full-fledged from the day one, but I thought once again, so if we can review few basics, that would be good, I thought. But from Monday onwards, it's going to be a rigorous practice kind of thing. Bootstrap itself is actually a rigorous, Bootcamp itself is actually a rigorous process. You have to spend some time. Okay, that is the time you are going to invest. With it, you get actually some confidence to some level. You can improve your skills. So with it, you can start building yourself required applications. Okay, completely that may not you make perfect, but to some extent actually it can make you, it can help you. First of all, your confidence level goes up. That is very important. Whatever kind of things you work with that. So required thing is confidence, in my opinion. So you can boost your confidence by attending boot camps, and you learn actually skills also. Okay, so now let me launch actually. Anyone has any questions? And please interact with me very much. I like to interact with you. So if you have any questions, please try to interact. So let me launch here Visual Studio. Then I try to cover now few like JavaScript related stuff. So very first thing is JavaScript is a scripting library. It's a scripting language. JavaScript is a scripting language. Basically, we have two types of languages: compiler languages and interpreter languages. Compiler language and interpreter languages. I try to give you two different examples for real world kind of thing, in the case of compilation and in the case of interpretation. Normally, in India on August 14th, President addresses the nation. Okay, regarding the achievements in the past year or in the past years. Okay, how we progress it, what are the plans for the future. So definitely President is going to address the nation on the advice of actually cabinet ministers or whatever it is. So they are going to address the nation. So whenever they address nation, first of all, that is telecasted or broadcasted both in English and in Hindi. Okay, later on, that is translated to the various regional languages. We think that Hindi is the national language, Then similarly, English is a link language. We know that. Okay, in both the languages actually, that is actually addressed by the President of India. Then after that, what happens exactly? Using the translators. They are nothing but human beings only. Probably in the future, we may adopt actually AI kind of thing. With the help of that, automatically it can translate. Okay, but right now what we do, we use translators. Translators actually, they translate the Hindi and English into our regional languages. So once that is translated to regional language, no longer you require actually original speech, which is spoken in the Hindi or in English, no longer you require. So this process is called as compilation. Same thing happens with the computer programming languages. You take C, you take C++, you take Java. Okay, so you cannot say Java. Java is basically, it is a compiler as well as interpreter. Okay, so C you take, C++ you take, these are called as compilers. And the very old language is COBOL, that was also a compiler. So once you compile, in the compilation process, what happens exactly? Very first thing is token analysis, we call. Okay, how the tokens are created. Grammatically, they are correct or not. Even in token creation also, you go with the grammar. So token meaning is what? You take any language, the token is going to be, it can be a identifier. Okay, it can be a constant. Even constant can be called as identifier. Okay, similarly, you have in this case operator, then you have separator. Operator spelling is correct. Okay, separator you have. So these can be called as tokens. They are something similar to our parts of speech in English. Like you have various things. One more thing is here, keywords. Okay, we have identifiers, we have constants, we have operators, we have separators and keywords. To frame a statement, in English we call sentence, but in the computer programming language, we call it as a statement. To frame a statement, we use these tokens. With the help of that, we frame. Whether, first of all, token is properly formed or not, it has to find out. This is called as actually token analysis. Token can be analyzed when tokens are correct, what it will do, whether sentence is correct properly or not. So that is called as actually syntactic analysis. So once syntax is correct, then it goes for the code generation. Then it goes for actually code generation. Code can be generated. I want to show some example here. What exactly happens? Suppose you take a C language, something like this. Everyone knows about C language. That's why I say here, main. And similarly, I here define a prototype like int followed by average. Then here, I want to go here with the int a, then int b. I'm defining something like this here. Okay, then after that, what I do here, in this case, I define here int x equal to 10. Similarly, int y equal to 20. Like this, I'm writing the code. Then after that, I try to write here z equal to here average followed by here x comma y I write. So whenever you compile this piece of code, this gets compiled successfully. Okay, this is going to be getting compiled successfully without any problem. Okay, but when you execute, in that case, the code actually will fail. It will not execute. What is the reason? Can anyone tell the reason why the code actually execution fails in that case? When you write this piece of code in the C language, what is happening? First of all, I am declaring a function here, int average, int a comma, int b. Here I'm not using actually any libraries which are predefined, like printf function or say scanf function. I'm not using anything like that. Just I've written some plain code. I've defined a function called main. So in the main function, I'm writing this piece of code syntactically and token wise, everything is correct in this case. Even this converts everything into object file. But when you execute, at the time this fails. What is the reason why it fails? Okay, so whenever you generate the exe file, at the time that comes into scenario, or whenever you execute application, at that time that comes into scenario. Okay, so that is runtime environment error, I can say. What I am doing exactly, I have just declared a function here. There is no definition for the function. Can you find anywhere function definition? What exactly function has to do? We haven't written. Just we defined a prototype for that. That means what average function is, what parameters are required, and what kind of actually data it can return from that we defined. Okay, so this is what exactly average function now, it is written in this manner. Suppose if I here complete that, I can write here int, then average, then I write here int, okay, a followed by here int b, then followed by if I write here something like return, now I should write here return, followed by here a plus b divided by 2 here. A plus b divided by 2, I'm going to write in this manner. So what will happen in such cases? This can give the result for you. Otherwise, it will not give result. Okay, so this is called as just a declaration, and this is called as your definition. This is called as interface, and this is called as implementation. This word is called as implementation, and this is called as actually interface. Interface meaning is what basically how to work with the QTEL. But in the implementation, internally how that is working, you tell. So how to work with the given average function, you tell. That means what parameters you need to pass and what is the output of that. That is called as interface. Okay, it's called as declaration. But if you go with the implementation, what is happening? How the code is working internally, you are writing it. Okay, so this is basically a translation process. It happens with that. Token analysis, syntactic analysis, code generation, then it will be getting executed. And one more point you need to remember, whenever you launch application and process, there is a difference between the two things. We often say application and process. So what is application and what is process? Application is a program that you saved on the disk or you installed in your computer. It is not a process. When you launch application, that is called as a process. Application resides on the disk, but when you launch application, a process gets created. Process meaning is what here? Whenever you launch a process, the OS is going to allocate certain space in the memory for the given application. It's going to initialize some variables, required variables, and dynamic variables also may be getting created. And you may have few functions in that. So for that functions, it creates a stack. So that concept is called as a process. There's a difference between application and process. So application is nothing but installed program in your computer. When you start it or when you launch it, it is going to create a process. When you have too many processes in the memory, your application is going to run very slow unless you have more and more RAM. Otherwise, what happens? It is going to be disk swapping kind of things you have. Okay, so compilation meaning is what in this case, converting source code into object code or exe file. So once that is available, no longer you require the source code. But in the case of the interpretation, always you require actually source code as well as interpreter. It is something like in the case of our speech, actually president speech, that is called as compilation process. Okay, so sometimes what happens, there can be summits, between the two leaders. For example, take American president and Russian president, they are discussing something. In a summit, they are discussing. So American president speaks only in English and Russian president speaks only in the Russian language. Okay, they never speak actually English. They speak only in the Russian language. So in such cases, what in English is said has to be conveyed to Russian president, and what in the Russian language the Russian president is saying, that is to be conveyed to the American president. So in such case, we have actually translators again. But this process is actually interpretation. On the fly, this is getting actually converted. If there is no translator sitting along with them, in that case, so the communication is not possible in such cases. So therefore, that process is called as actually here like interpretation. So when you convert actually the source code into here machine understandable format, one is compilation process, other one is interpretation process. So there is one more process called transpilation or transpilers. Like TypeScript you take that can convert the TypeScript code into JavaScript code. Similarly, you have Babel kind of thing. In the React.js when you work, they can convert actually the TypeScript or JSX into pure JavaScript. Okay, so they are called as transpilers. All these actually we are going to use in our application. So JavaScript is what in this case, it's an interpreter. It has to be always in the browser. Then only your application is going to work. Otherwise, it's not going to work if you have any JavaScript interaction in that. If there is no interaction with the JavaScript, then in that case, you don't require JavaScript. in the browser. Okay, and we don't have a separate, it has a separate software. JavaScript is part of actually browser, and with few other applications also it works, like PDF you take. In the PDF also you can use JavaScript. Okay, so in earlier days actually JavaScript mostly we used to be the client side, that means only the browsers. But these days even you can develop applications server side with the help of the JavaScript. So that is called as Node.js. Using V8 engine you can develop applications. Server side applications also you can develop. Node.js can be a server. Okay, at the same time Angular can be front end. Angular can be front end, or React.js can be front end. Okay, so then similarly you have the Node.js as server. In that you are going to use a framework, web application framework called Express. With the help of Express you can develop. Then you can have some database like SQL Server or PostgreSQL, or it can be any MySQL, any kind of database you can have. So even that can be a full stack. Okay, that can be full stack. So here we are going to develop few things related to Node.js also. I show you how to work with Node.js as well. Okay, so Node.js we can use, Python we can use, Go language we can use, like ASP.NET Core we can use, Java we can use. That's for the backend development. Okay, for backend development, for that purpose we can use them. And similarly you can do with the React.js or with Angular. So all these are actually JavaScript libraries only. With the help of that we do. So JavaScript must be part of the web browser. Otherwise, your page, if you have any interactive script, that cannot be working. Okay, so JavaScript is what? It's a scripting language. Earlier that was called as actually LiveScript. That got developed by Netscape Navigator. There was a browser, old browser. We used to have that in the 95, 96. At that time, we had that browser. It is called as Netscape Navigator, but no longer you can see these days that now. But who actually created initially? Netscape created the LiveScript, that is, now it is called as actually JavaScript. Because Java community, they helped them a lot in developing that. So, as a gesture, goodwill gesture, they named it as actually JavaScript. Okay, so JavaScript we use actually in the browser, in the web pages, to interact with the web pages. When user has to interact with the web pages, we use JavaScript. Okay, similarly, when you want to go with the partial postbacks kind of thing, instead of sending entire data, okay, what you do, partially you send data and you refresh partial screen on that, that's called as actually partial postback kind of thing. And similarly, whenever you want to have animation kind of thing, you can use in that. Similarly, you want to go with some time display on the screen periodically, once for every 1 second, time has to change. In such cases, you can use JavaScript. Okay, in the servers, in the client side. In the server side also you can use, it is actually Node.js. With the help of that, you can develop server-side applications as well. Okay, but Node.js you can use only for simple applications. You cannot use with the complex applications. A lot of file uploading, video kind of thing, or audio kind of thing you have. In that case, Node.js is not the right kind of tool. Okay, it's fragile actually. With lightweight applications, you can use the Node.js. But they are trying to improvise that, improve it. In the future, you can have better Node.js version. Okay, so now here, let me launch yesterday's application itself and show you. Is anyone getting, feeling bored?
No.
No.
So yeah, just I'm going to G drive here. Then in this case, Bootstrap examples. Okay, then here I'm going to launch here grid examples. There are so many files in this available for us. Okay, which are already created. Now, if you look at this, this is nothing but first.html. We have a file. In this, I added few JavaScript. It is script, then function, show message, alert, welcome to JavaScript. As soon as the application is starting, as soon as the web page is getting loaded, automatically you get this message. In fact, before this particular content is loaded, what is happening? This is giving alert symbol for us. It's giving alert. Okay, if you call the function immediately, but in a function you have written show MSG. Now here, upon clicking that particular thing, it's happening. Suppose I put here show MSG, what happens? See now here. Okay, show MSG, this is a function I define. Using function keyword, you can define a function. So what exactly function? A function is nothing but a small part of the program. You can think even it as a module. If you define like a function in number of areas, same function you can use. So you can have reusability with the help of the functions. You have modularity with the help of this here. Instead of defining a function, you can write code also here straight away. With JavaScript code you can write, but that is not a good practice. Divide into small modules. So that module you can use with number of other things. So function show MSG, alert, welcome to JavaScript. Then immediately I'm calling in this case, what happens? Even if you don't click on that, this is going to be getting fired for us. Because I have defined function here, immediately I'm calling this. Okay, I'm calling in this case. Now let me come to this and here, run that. Okay, so now in this grid examples I take, in this first, immediately it says, welcome to JavaScript. You have like this again, when you click on this, once again it shows. Though this is simple text H1, I think, but I have written a code to, I have written some on-click event. When you click on the event, when you click on the text box, what is the H1, automatically this is coming up. I haven't kept any button. So just on the H1, when you click, it is coming up. And this is called as your DOM, document object model. So you have actually the body. So in the body, you have various elements. This is called as your document. So this is the area in which you have content. Okay, now suppose in this whatever text I have, I want to display. Okay, this is home page. Now whatever text is available in the H1, I want to display that. So for that purpose, I need to have some ID, which is nothing but variable name. I put ID. This is what SH1. I put like this. The ID is going to be SH1. I want to here go with the, instead of actually going with the alert, it shows actually pop-up. Sometimes that is irritating for us. So you can see on the console, you can debug, you can just write here console.log followed by here. You go with this and try to print it. What value you have to print here? H1 value. But how to access the H1? For that you have a document dot followed by here get element by ID. So using ID, you can get element. ID is nothing but here variable name. Then here go with the SH1 followed by here dot value. You type here. You go with this and try to print here dot value. Okay, so with this, what happens here? It should be displaying on the console. Console, what is console? I show you here. Now, first of all, let me come to this page. Then here, I click on this. I can go to more tools, then developer tools. Then in the bottom, you get this. Now refresh this here. Welcome to JavaScript. Then it's giving error here. So why this is giving error? Just look at the code and try to tell why that is giving error. Whenever you load the web page, from the top, it's going to be getting loaded. Okay, so first the HTML, this is loaded, then header part is loaded. In the header part, what we are writing? We are writing here function show MSG, alert, welcome to JavaScript. Then here console.log document.get element by ID sh1 value. Okay, so up to this, whenever you execute this function, this is not loaded so far. This part is not loaded. Okay, it has to be still loaded. Before loading only, you are trying to call this. Because of that, you have an error in that case. What's happening exactly? So here, you are calling the function. In this function, you are referring a method that is sh1, which is not part of actually here in the document so far. So up to this is executed. Then after that, what happens? It's going to be loading into memory. So in the memory, this is not available. So much before only you're trying to get the value. Therefore, it's giving error. Now, instead of this one, what I do here, I can go to this part. Here I can write the script now. I go here with the script. Then here in this, I can type this here. So what happens in such cases? This should print in the console. What message exactly? Home page it has to print for us. It has to print actually home page for us. Now here, okay, I come to this here again. I run this. Now what it is printing? It's printing actually undefined in this case. So why it is printing undefined in this case? So this is not actually value. You have to go with the inner text kind of thing in this case. we call this as actually inner text. It's not value. Okay, so I want to name this as here dot inner text. I want to name this as here inner text. Okay, then try to run this. This time what happens? See. Now it is printing actually home page. Okay, so this is a block level element. Block level elements do not have a value property. They have actually like inner text, inner HTML. Inside this also you can have some like inside this you can have once again some kind of HTML. Okay, I go here with this, then go with the span. Okay, followed by here. I want to put something like here, hello. Okay, like this, I have a span. In the span, I'm having here, hello. Then again, I refresh here. In this case, what happens? See, it is printing actually hello, hello home page. Even that is also going to be treated like text in that case. Okay, so that is also going to be getting treated. Whatever text is available in that, you are getting in that case. But if I go with the inner HTML, what happens? See here. Here I go with this, then I want to go here with the inner HTML. What it's going to print, see here in this. Dot inner, followed by here it is HTML. I want to retrieve inner HTML from that. So it is printing actually span. That means in the block level elements, you can put other HTML as well. Other HTML elements. Also within the span, span is actually what? It's a not block level container, it's inline. Even inside the span also we can have. So using this JavaScript, now what I'm doing, I'm retrieving the data from the given element. From element I'm retrieving data, I'm doing in that manner here. Now suppose I want to add two numbers and I want to display some result. Okay, so in the body, what I do here in this case, I can create here. First of all, I go with the BR tag, it's break. That means it is going to be starting at a new line. Then here, I would like to go with some input. Like here, first number. Okay, then colon here it is followed by input. Type equal to, it is here, text. Okay, then here, followed by value equal to, I want to go with 0 here. Okay, then in this case, ID also I have to have here, ID equal to FN, that means first number. Then I can have like this. Followed by here, ampersand NBSP. Again, ampersand NBSP. Then here, I go with the second number. I'll put here second number. So this is going to be second number. I'm retrieving here. In the same line, I have second number. Okay. Now next thing is what here, this also I've taken it as like 0, and this is, and here now I want to go with a button. Okay. So this is going to be here button. Then here on click, here I go with this calculate or calc, I just write here. Whenever we click on that, it has to calculate something. So here I write calculate. I want to perform in this case, okay. It is going to be calculate. When we click on that button, it has to call the cal function, cal function. So when you call the cal function, it has to retrieve values from the both input elements. The first one is fn, second thing is what I send. So from that we need to retrieve data and it has to be printing. Here now I comment this part, then I come to this point and here define another function. Function followed by it is what? Calc. Okay, function calc. Inside this, I can go here with the like, I can take this one. Then I want to retrieve here data. Okay, so you need to retrieve data and you need to put it a variable. To put into variable, you have to use the var keyword. We call this as var n1 equal to, we retrieve like this. Similarly, okay, it's not inner HTML, it's not this one. It is going to be here fn. followed by this is not inner HTML. We want to make this as here dot value. It's going to be here value. Okay. So get element by ID, then value. Similarly, we go with the SN here. Okay, SN. This is going to be N2, and here it is SN. So this is going to be here SN. Then I want to show the, sum of them. Here write, otherwise you can write like this, console.log. Okay, then here you can go with the N1 plus N2. We print in this manner. Okay, we print in this manner, console.log N1 plus N2. So it should be printing on the console whenever we click on that. Now what happens, see here in this case. Okay, so just refresh this here. I'm clicking on the calculate. When I click on the calculate, nothing is happening in this case. So what is the problem? You can see here. So just refresh once again, click on the calculate. So why it is not firing? Let us see here in this case. Go to this, then here. What is the function cal? It's not actually calc function. So what's the name of the function here? CALC. I need to put here. So after this, I end actually CALC. I put here, then it should calculate for us. Okay, just refresh this here. Now click on the calculate. Still, this is not firing. Okay, what is the reason? Once again, we check here. So button on click C is missing in this case. Typing mistake. On click actually it is. Refresh the page. Again, click on the calculate. It is saying 0, 0. When you add 0 with 0, what we should get? We should get 0, but we are getting in this case what exactly? 0, 0. So this is taking concatenation. Because whenever you take any data from the text box, it is going to be the string format. Even you can print what type of data that is. Okay, so if you come here, what type of data this is, you can print here using console.log, followed by here, type of function we use, followed by we write this as here N1 plus N2. N1 plus N2, like this we write, and we are going to render with the help of this. What type of data it is, it can print for you. Okay, I click on the calculate, it is saying string. So whatever data you have in the text box, this is treated always like a string only. You need to convert that into here a number. Okay, so after this example, I wind up. Now here what I do, I can go with the, in this case, parse int. With the help of that, I can convert into integer, which is nothing but JavaScript library. Parse int. Then inside this, I put N1, followed by here it is parse int again. Then this is here N2. So like this, I'm converting into here numbers, then adding. So in such case, I should get it as actually integer or numeric kind of thing I have to get. So just refresh. Here now go with the calculate. In such case, this time it is saying number. Earlier it was saying like string, but now it is saying number because I converted into number, this particular thing. So like this, you can be using the JavaScript. In tomorrow's session, I cover more about the JavaScript because that is going to be very important. But from Monday onwards, we are going to work with the Bootstrap. We are going to be laying out things. So it's going to be a rigorous process. Okay, we are going to immerse and involve totally in the application development. Okay, we are going to be using whatever tools are required to develop and deploy application, even to unit test. Even unit testing you can do here in this case. You can go with the unit testing kind of thing, even in this case. For example, here you go with the unit testing. You can go with the console.assert. Okay, console.assert in this case. So what you do here in this case is, how many parameters are required here? Okay, condition Boolean, then undefined the data you have. Okay, so this can be, condition is going to be, we put condition in this case. Here it is, we can go with the, like it is returning some data. Is it returning any data? So here it can return data after this. Okay, so here I go with this initially, not type of actually, this is enough for me. I can put like this here, equal to, then 0. Okay, followed by here, I go with the like unit test failed. So this is what a ternary operator I'm using. With the help of that, I'm comparing both the things. So they must be part of actually. Otherwise, it's going to check only with the first one. So put in this manner, I'm performing unit testing. Whenever that is equal to 0, so it is going to print through. Otherwise, it's going to print actually unit test failed. So let me run in this case, then click on the calculate. Okay, so what happened with this? Is it getting called or not? Okay, so just I put like this much only. Okay, put here true. Otherwise, go with the false in this case. Then try to here print this particular thing here. Okay, once again, here go with the click on the calculate. Okay, we'll see tomorrow how this works actually, but it is going to be you can do assert or else you try to find how assert works with the console.log. Okay, in the console you can see, just try to find here console.assert how it works. You can see few examples they are available. Just you can compare in that manner. So with this, you can do unit testing of the JavaScript functions. Okay, whatever function you have written, whether that's correct, working correct or not, first you need to test. If it's working correct, then in that case, you can integrate with the HTML pages or whatever it is. Otherwise, you need to rectify the problem. Then you need to make it working properly. You have to see the function is working as you expected. Then you can integrate that particular function code within the code. Okay, so this is what exactly unit testing also you can perform. You have to perform. Fine. So in next session, we meet and we discuss more about the JavaScript. If you have any questions, please email us. Yeah, that's it. Anyone has any questions?